Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Success Shop. Today we are going to start with the new chapter Soil of Class 10 ICSE Board. The chapter Soil will be dealing with all the different types of soil here. But before that, what is soil? Soil is the uppermost layer of the earth's crust which consists of organic matter as well as mineral matter which is necessary for the growth of plants. India has a vast natural environment which facilitates the growth of different types of soil. Broadly speaking, there are 6 different types of soil: alluvial soil, black soil, red soil, laterite soil, mountain soil and desert soil. But first we will start with alluvial soil. Alluvial soil is found in the northern plains of the river valley. The main rivers here are Ganga and Yamuna and also Indus. And this is the reason that alluvial soil are found mostly in the northern plains. They extend from Indus plain in the west to Assam in the east. The main states where alluvial soil are present are Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Bengal and Assam. This soil is very fertile soil and helps in cultivation of different types of crops. And that is why for India, the alluvial soil is considered to be the most important soil. Now let us see, there are two types of alluvial soil, that is Bangad and Khadad. Bangad is the older alluvial soil and they are found in higher parts of northern plains. They are found above 30 meters above the river plain. And these soils are also found in the massive beds. They consist of calcareous clay and they are not very fertile soil because the texture of the soil is a bit coarse and the size of the particles are bigger. In compared to this Khadad, they are newer alluvial soil. Now why they are newer alluvial soil? Because they are formed by the deposition of silt every year. As we know, alluvial soil is formed by the deposition of silt by the rivers which every year, and this alluvial soil, newer alluvial soil, they are deposited every year by the monsoonal flood. The rivers, especially in this area, the rivers Kosi and other rivers which bring flood, they deposit every year silt in these regions, and that is why these silt are almost like fine clay to loam and they are very fertile soil. So most of the crops grown in this region have a very good productivity, especially in the lower valleys of Ganga. Now let us see the characteristic of alluvial soil. The first characteristic of alluvial soil is they are rich in potash and lime, but they are deficient in nitrogen, phosphoric acid and humus. They consist of clay, silt and are very fertile. In the upper Ganga valley, they are dry, porous and sandy, but they are compact, less coarse and more moist in the lower level of the rivers. The fourth characteristic is that these soils are best suited for the cultivation of crops like wheat, maize, pulses, oilseed, etc. Our next soil is black soil. Black soil is also called as Reger soil. Thousands of years ago, a volcanic eruption took place and when it cooled down, it deposited lava ash. Now because of this lava ash, the color of the soil is grey. Grey or light black, and this is why it is called as black soil. Now this soil extended over a large part of Deccan area and they comprise the states of Gujarat, Maharashtra, southern UP, western Madhya Pradesh and few parts of Andhra Pradesh and the northern parts of Karnataka. Now let us see what are the characteristics of this soil. This soil is rich in iron, potash, lime, alumina and manganese, but they are deficient in phosphorus, nitrogen and organic matter. They are highly moisture retentive soil. This means that when they get water, they absorb the water and can last for a long time. So they are called as, they are highly moisture retentive soil and become sticky when they are wet, but they develop cracks when they are dry. This soil is very fertile soil and it is best suited for the cultivation of crops like cotton, groundnut, gram, oilseed, etc. Our next soil category is red soil. Red soil is mostly found in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Orissa, in some parts of Uttar Pradesh and in this area of eastern Madhya Pradesh and in Gujarat. These soils are formed due to prolonged weathering of underlying crystalline rocks like granite and gneisses. They are a mixture of clay and sand. The color of the red soil is red. Now why it is red? Because of the presence of iron oxide in these soils. But the color in some places they vary. They vary from red to brown, and in some regions they are also grey in color. Like in the southern part of India, the red soil is mostly red in color because here a lot of iron oxide is present. So here the soil is purely red in color and little bit brown. But in this part it is light grey in color. Now let us see the characteristics of red soil. Red soil is red in color because of the presence of iron oxide. It is rich in potash and lime. But this soil is deficient in nitrogen, phosphoric acid and humus. But this soil, if it is irrigated well, means when irrigational facilities are given, lot of water and organic matter is added to it, it gives a good crop yield. And so it is suitable for crops like millet, pulses, gram, sugarcane. Another reason is that this soil is why suited to this type of crops because of high temperature. These areas faces high temperature which gives a good amount of sunshine for the crop to ripe. So these types of soil grow well in, so these types of crops grow well in high temperature and good rainfall. The next type of soil is lateritic soil. This word later has been derived from a Latin word which means brick, a Latin word later. So the meaning of the word later is brick. Laterite soil is formed due to the weathering of lateritic rocks. They develop in monsoonal condition. Now what are the monsoonal condition? Means they have high temperature and good amount of rainfall. Now this is also, we can say, it's an alteration of dry and wet climate. We have summer season which is followed by rainy season. So in these two seasons we have very high temperature and a good amount of rainfall. Now here a process takes place that is called as leaching. Leaching is a process in which percolation takes place where all the valuable nutrients of the soil are washed away due to excessive rain and temperature. You can see, for example, these are the layers of the soil. The first is the topsoil, then the subsoil, and this one bedrock. Since this is a bit large particles of rocks are present here, so they are the lowermost layer and they are the bedrock area. Now what happens is, due to excessive heat and rainfall, the topmost layer of the soil which contains valuable nutrients, they are washed away, that is towards downwards. So here what happens is, due to percolation, the valuable nutrients which is present in the top layer of the soil, they are washed down and they go down to the lower levels. So here agriculture becomes difficult, means this soil becomes unsuitable for growing crops. Now let us see the characteristic of these soil. They are rich in iron and the color is red because of the presence of iron oxide. This soil is deficient in lime and nitrogen, so it is less fertile. And another characteristic is that they are soft when wet and hard when dry. They are found in patches and they do not have any well-defined area. Now, I told you that these, because of this leaching process which goes on, they are unsuitable for agriculture due to high acidic content. Now, we have also seen that these areas, especially the region of red soil area, you will see that in red soil area, the lateritic soil are present in patches. They do not have any well-defined area like rest of the soil. You can see here they are found in patches in Karnataka, Kerala, little parts of Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, West Bengal and also in Assam. Now the other characteristic is, since they are unsuitable for agriculture because they are less fertile, so important crops cannot be grown in this region. And what are the crops grown in this region is plantation crops. So these are a bit different type. They are not cereal crops, they are plantation crops which can be grown in hilly areas where the temperature and rainfall is excessive, but they do not affect the crop to a large extent. Here tea crop and coffee and cashew nuts are grown mostly in the Deccan Plateau area where they are grown on hill slopes. So temperature and rainfall do not affect them. So the next soil is mountain soil. From the word itself mountain, we can understand that this soil is found in the mountainous area, that is in hilly areas. You can see that is in Jammu and Kashmir. Now presently this part is Leh. Both have become the union territory of India. Jammu and Kashmir and Leh, and you can see also a little bit in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh in some places. Then we see here in Arunachal Pradesh also mountainous soil is found. Now this soil is found at an higher altitudes with a height of about 2100 meters and 3000. In between this range, these mountain soil is found. The color of the soil is, especially in the dark, it's dark brown in color. And the characteristic of the soil, we can see they are rich in iron and low in humus. They are deficient in lime. There are certain characteristics which are common in all of the soils in India. The texture is silty loam to loam, and they are suitable for plantation crops, especially tea. That is, especially tea is grown in this mountain soil. Next we will see desert soil. Desert soil is found only in one area, that is in Thar desert. The last type of soil that we are going to discuss is desert soil. Desert soil is mainly found in the Thar desert, especially in Rajasthan. They cover a large area of Rajasthan, that is western Rajasthan. Now desert soil are formed due to scarcity of water. They have high salt content in them, and that is why they are considered to be unfit for agriculture. The Thar desert, which extends to an area of 1,42,000 square kilometer. This means a large part of Rajasthan and few parts of Gujarat, only very few. And then we have the southwestern part of Punjab. These areas are covered by desert soil. The color of this soil is light yellow in color. And the characteristic, let's come to the characteristic of the soil. They are having low organic matter, low nitrogen and very low humus content in them. Soil is sandy to gravel. This is the texture of the soil, that they are sandy to gravel, and this is the reason that they cannot hold the water for a long time. So they become dry very easily. They also contain they have high soluble salt, which makes the soil unfit for agriculture. But with the help of irrigational facilities, for example, the Indira Gandhi Canal, which has been developed in those areas to help the people to enhance agriculture in those regions. But the type of crops grown in this region is also suitable to the climate. That is, these are the areas where the temperature is high and the rainfall is low. That is, it is mostly below 50 centimeter of rainfall. So here the main crops grown are millet. Now what is millet? Millet means jowar, bajra, ragi. These are the crops. So why these crops are grown? Because they do not need lot of manure and they do not need rainfall. They can survive in high temperature. So these are the crops, millet, which are grown mainly in the Thar desert area.